Let's talk histology. Histology is the study of tissues. A group of cells that are performing the same function are tissues. Neurons that send information from your brain to the parts of your body is a neuronal tissue. The skin is covered by skin tissue, okay? Integumentary system covered by skin tissue, okay? So group of cells that do the same function are known as tissues, and the study of these cells is known as histology. Okay, so there are four major types of tissues. The first type are epithelial cells. By the way, please, you can pause real quick and grab your textbook and follow along. All the things I'm going to discuss are in your lab book, exercise 4, okay? All the answers you're looking for in your lab book and in the cadaver dissection tool. This is where I encourage you to please work with your cadaver dissection tool. Epithelial tissue is the first type of tissue. This epithelial tissue covers surfaces inside and outside. So surface of your skin, of your hair, of your nails, and also of your gut are covered by epithelial tissue. Even of your blood vessels. The blood vessels are covered in endothelial tissue, which is epithelial tissue, a type of it. So those are epithelial tissue. They cover surfaces. We'll come back to that. The next group are connective tissue. Connective tissue are the most diverse, and they have a lot of functions. For instance, blood is a connective tissue, and this is useful in transportation and fighting immunity, right? Transportation of nutrients and oxygen, and in immunity. Then we have bone. Bone is for structure, bone and cartilage. And then we have I'm blanking. Blood, bone, cartilage, adipose, which is for packaging. Adipose and areolar are great for packaging. And areola also contains, it allows for, it's found in parts of the body that allows blood vessels to pass through and nerves to pass through. So these are all connective tissue types. You see, they do all different types of things. The different types of cartilage in your body are connective tissue types, okay? The next group of tissue are muscle tissue, of which we have 3 types of muscle tissue. We have skeletal muscle, we have cardiac muscle, and we have smooth muscle. Skeletal muscle is the kind of muscle that attaches to bones and is responsible for movement and contraction. We're going to talk more about it in chapter 7. Cardiac muscle is also, actually before I go to cardiac, a few more things about skeletal. Skeletal muscle is striated, which means it's got lines that are formed by the different types of proteins that are found in it. So it's striated. It's mostly voluntary. There are occasions where it may not be completely voluntary. Can you think of an occasion where skeletal muscle is involuntary? Shivering. When you're shivering and keeps you warm, that's skeletal muscle. So it's striated, it's voluntary, it's multinucleated. So that means it has a lot of nuclei. Multinucleated. So those are some major characteristics of skeletal muscle. Cardiac muscle, those found in the heart, they are involuntary for the most part. They also have gap junctions at locations called gap junctions and intercalated discs, which allow for unified contraction of the heart. You do not want cells to be beating at different rates. They all beat together thanks to their gap junctions and intercalated discs. And then we have smooth muscle, which is involuntary, usually found in the digestive system and blood vessels, and found all over, in many parts of the body. So these are the different types of muscles. Then finally we have nervous or nerve tissue. Nerve tissue is important for communication, transmission, and communication. Okay, and if you remember, I don't know if you know this, that this is what a neuron looks like. It looks something like this. You've got the dendrite, they're dendrites which receive information. You've got the soma, which is right here, which is also the cell body. That's where many events are happening. We got the axon, which transmits information to other neurons, and the axon terminal. Oh, here we go again. Axon terminal. Okay, so that's nerve tissue. Nerve tissue is divided into neurons and neuroglia. Neurons are the communicating part, while neuroglia are supportive cells. When we get down to that chapter, we'll talk more about it in detail. Okay, so these are the 4 major types of tissue. I want you to know the 4 types of tissue, and then we are going to learn the other types, the subtypes of tissue. This is where your cadaver dissection tool comes into play. The chapter on tissues has all pictures of all of them. I want you to find pictures and upload into the assignment that says study guide. I'm helping you create a study guide at the same time we're studying. I'm not going to penalize too much if your study guide isn't excellent, but I want you to use your cadaver dissection tool to find every type of epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscle tissue, and nerve tissue, and upload into that document for me. Do a little bit of writing. Hopefully it's able to help you. Okay, let's go to epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue is classified into 2 types. You can classify them into 2 major types. Well, you can classify them based on 2 criteria. Number 1, shape. Number 2, layers. So, 3 shapes. You've got flat, which is called squamous. You've got cube, which is called cuboidal, and then you've got this one, which is got a column, which is got columnar. I don't know why I'm making it look like that. It shouldn't be like that. So we've got squamous, cuboidal, columnar. So every epithelial tissue, all the cells that line your different parts of your body, from your gut to your skin to your blood vessels, they are either squamous, cuboidal, or columnar. Then they're either 1 layer or 2 layers. If they're 1 layer, they're called simple. If they're 2 layers, they're called stratified. So you're either simple squamous, simple cuboidal, or simple columnar, or you're stratified squamous, stratified cuboidal, or stratified columnar. Okay, so those are the types of epithelial cells. There are 2 types that are outliers. Number 1 is pseudo-stratified, which means it looks stratified, but it's not. And I'm going to explain that to you. All epithelial tissue have a basement membrane. This is just a layer that connects them to the body. This basement membrane contains proteins that allows them to attach. But if they're stratified, some of them sit on other cells. That's stratified. In pseudo-stratified, all the layers sit on the basement membrane, no matter how long or how short they are all connected to this basement membrane. So you have a single cell, and it's long, it's short, doesn't matter, connected to the basement membrane. That's pseudo-stratified. Occasionally it will look stratified because of how the nuclei look inside. Okay, so that's pseudo-stratified. The other one is transitional. Transitional is found in certain organs that allow them to shapeshift. So they can go from squamous to columnar to cuboidal, because depending on if that organ is expanding. And so let's start with transitional. The perfect example of transitional is bladder. Okay, bladder is an organ that has transitional epithelium. I think I have the document here. Here's the document I posted. Please use this document to your advantage. I put pictures there so that it can help you. For you guys, it's just a study guide, but I'm going to give you points for creating your own study guide. So here we've got simple squamous, and we've got simple cuboidal, simple columnar, pseudo-stratified columnar, stratified squamous, and transitional. These are your different types of epithelial cells. I think I also have a PowerPoint that you guys can use. Here's your PowerPoint. So examples of simple squamous. Where can you find simple squamous? You can find them here in blood vessels and in the lungs, because you need diffusion. They're flat, they allow things to flow easily through. Simple cuboidal, I found they're also important for absorption and secretion. So they're not as big cells. They are a little smaller than the columnar cells. So examples will be in exocrine glands, like sweat glands all over our bodies, and sweat glands, and digestive glands, and in also the kidneys. Then we have the columnar. Here are the columnar, and these allow for absorption. That's why they're a lot longer. Absorption and secretion. So here we find them in the intestines and in the uterus, anywhere that requires absorption, storage, because they're long. Then we have here a simple columnar. And then here we've got stratified, the stratified layer, the stratified squamous, flat cells that have many layers. Perfect example is your skin. Okay, skin, mouth, anus. Those are parts of your body that have multiple layers. Okay, your colon, and because they're stratified. And then we have the pseudo-stratified. We find those in the nasal cavity and the trachea. And then transitional, we find them in the bladder. So I want you to find pictures. You can also draw them out, but you're making your own study guide. Find pictures on your cadaver dissection tool, post them, and then write where every one of these type of cells are found. These types of tissue I've found. At some point, I want you guys to go and find pictures. There's an assignment I posted for the other group, and that's it's an extra credit assignment. We're going to test each other. Find pictures. Do not label them, but you know what the label is. Do not label them, and put in the discussion board that I'm going to post, and see if your colleagues can guess which type of tissue it is. You get extra points for it, by the way. The other group are connective tissue. Because of time, I will not go deeply into connective tissue, but these are connective tissue. The next, if you on your page here, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different types of connective tissue, and they have their own landmarks. Because of time, I will not record what the landmarks are, but please be able to determine what the different types of connective tissue are by looking at them, describe them. These are adipose, for instance. There's a way adipose tissue looks like, and then they're mostly empty cells that are able to contain fat. And then we have ground compact bone, which are usually circular because they allow compression forces. And then we have blood, which are usually round pink or purple with occasional white blood cells. with occasional white blood cells right there. Those are white blood cells, those are red blood cells, okay? And then we have some like elastic cartilage which can be found with somewhere like this and in the epiglottis. And we have other types of tissue. We have loose connective tissue, which is the areola, which is an excellent connective tissue for packaging. And then I'm going to move straight to muscle. I've already explained muscle, but here are the 3 types of muscle. Here is striated muscle, and you can see how it looks striated like that. You can see those lines that go this way, that's striated, and these are the different nuclei, okay? So multiple nuclei per cell. This is cardiac muscle, and one of the things you want to notice about cardiac muscle is that it's branched. I think I forgot to mention that. It's branched. Okay, it's branched, and then you have these intercalated discs. Those are intercalated discs. Then we have smooth muscle, involuntary, no striations. Lastly, we have neurons, and I think I already drew a neuron for you, but this is what a neuron looks like. Again, you've got that. You've got the dendrites, which receive information. You've got the nucleus. You've got the cell body. You've got the axon, which sends information to another neuron that's just nearby. So those are neurons, and that's what a neuron slide would look like. So using your cadaver dissection tool, I want you to be able to go there, find pictures, find lots of pictures, and share. The discussion board, I'm going to post a lot more pictures and see if you can guess. By attempting to discuss with me on the discussion board, you earn points. Easy points. So please, let's do that. Okay, I'm going to stop here. It's been a long video. I apologize. And please watch this video. Again, I'm going to put some questions here, not really to test you, but just to make sure that you watch the video. All right. Thank you.